There is a moment in every homeowner's life that nobody warns you about. Not when you buy the house, not when you pay it off. After. The moment you're sitting in a house you own completely, no mortgage, no debt, free and clear, and you realize you're still broke. I had that moment on a Tuesday morning in March of 2021. I was sitting at my kitchen table in a house worth $400,000. A house I had spent 31 years paying for. A house I painted, repaired, renovated, and loved. And I was looking at a spreadsheet that told me I had $214 left after expenses for the rest of the month, in a house worth $400,000. Something is deeply, fundamentally wrong with that picture. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what it is and exactly what I did about it.
Let me tell you about that house. 4 Elmwood Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a backyard with a maple tree I planted myself in 1993. My kids grew up in that house. My wife and I had 30 years of Sunday mornings in that kitchen. The walls knew us. I am not going to pretend leaving was easy. It wasn't. But let me tell you what that house was actually costing me, because this is the number that changes everything. Most people think that when you pay off your mortgage, the house becomes free. That's the biggest financial myth in America. Here's what I was paying every single month to live in a house I owned outright. Property taxes, $510. Home insurance, $220. Utilities, heating, electric, water, $310. Basic maintenance and repairs, averaging $200 a month when you spread it across the year. That's $1,240 a month, every month, to live in a house I already owned. That's $14,880 a year to live for free. That's the lie of home ownership that nobody says out loud.
Here's where it gets interesting. In 31 years of owning that house, I paid the original mortgage, I paid the refinancing costs, I paid 31 years of property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. I got out a spreadsheet one night and added it all up. Total amount paid to own that house over 31 years, not counting the original purchase price, just the ongoing costs of owning it, $462,000. I paid $462,000 to live in a $400,000 house. The house didn't make me money. The house was the money, and I had spent my entire working life feeding it. The night I figured that out, I couldn't sleep. I lay in the dark in my paid-off house, and I did a different kind of math. I thought about a couple I'd seen in a YouTube video 3 weeks earlier. Retired Americans, living in Cascais, Portugal. Their rent was $290 a month. $290 for an apartment with a view of the Atlantic Ocean, in a safe, walkable, beautiful town. So I did the math. If I sold my house for $400,000 and put that money in a conservative investment returning 5% annually, that's $20,000 a year. $1,666 a month, just from the house money sitting in an account, plus my pension of $2,200, plus Social Security of $1,100. That's $4,966 coming in every month, against expenses of $875 a month in Portugal. That's $4,091 left over, every single month. I sat up in bed and did that calculation 3 times because I didn't believe it. $4,000 a month in savings, while living a better life. I had been living in a $400,000 prison, and I had the key the whole time.
Now here's the part every financial advisor, every real estate agent, and every well-meaning neighbor will get completely wrong when you tell them your plan. They will say, "But what about equity?" And they're not wrong that equity is real. But here's what they won't tell you. Equity is not income. Equity sitting in a house is like having a savings account you can never touch that charges you $1,400 a month in fees just for existing. When you sell and invest, that equity becomes income. Real, monthly, spendable income. The house was storing my wealth. Selling it set my wealth free.
I know exactly what you're thinking right now, because I thought all of it too. Objection 1. But what if I need to leave my money to my kids? Here's the honest answer. If you sell at $400,000, invest it wisely, and live on the returns, there is an excellent chance you leave your kids more money than if you stayed in the house, paid for its maintenance for 20 more years, and then left them a property they have to sell anyway during a grief-filled, complicated, expensive estate process. The house isn't a gift to your kids, it's a problem you're scheduling for them. Objection 2. But renting feels like throwing money away. This one comes from a belief that was planted in us in the 1970s by the real estate industry for very obvious reasons. Renting at $290 a month is not throwing money away. Paying $1,400 a month in taxes, insurance and maintenance on an empty house you're too tired to enjoy, that is throwing money away. Objection 3. But what if property values go up and I miss out? If your house doubles in value over the next 20 years, congratulations, you now have an $800,000 asset that still costs you $1,400 a month to sit in, and you still can't pay for groceries with a square foot. Meanwhile, your invested proceeds have also been growing for 20 years. Objection 4. But I love my house. This one I understand more than any of them. I loved my house too. And I want to be honest with you about something. There are days in Portugal when I miss that maple tree. I genuinely do. But I do not miss the $214 I had left at the end of March. I do not miss the anxiety. I do not miss feeling like a prisoner of a building I was supposed to own.
What $290 a month actually gets you? Let me tell you what my rental in Cascais, Portugal actually looks like. Because when I say $290, I can hear what you're imagining. A dark room, thin walls, shared bathroom. No. My apartment is 900 square feet. 2 bedrooms, so my grandkids have a room when they visit. A kitchen with a gas stove and tile counters that the owner's grandmother picked out 40 years ago, and they are genuinely beautiful. A small balcony where I drink my coffee every morning, and from that balcony, if I lean slightly to the left, I can see the Atlantic Ocean. $290 a month. The building is old. The elevator makes a sound I've decided not to investigate. The hot water takes 45 seconds to arrive. And I would not trade it for any house on Elmwood Drive. The thing that surprised me most, I thought I would miss the house. I thought I would feel untethered, rootless, like something was missing. Here's what I actually felt about 3 weeks after I moved to Portugal. Light. Not happy exactly, not relieved exactly, just light. Like I had been carrying something very heavy for 31 years and had finally put it down. The house was not just a financial weight. It was an identity I had built around an object. Frank with the nice house in Cincinnati, Frank who owns his home, Frank who did the responsible thing. And when I let go of that identity, I discovered something I didn't expect. I didn't need it. I never needed it. What I needed was the life that was waiting on the other side of it.
The practical guide. If any part of this is resonating, here is what I actually recommend as your next steps. Not financial advice, just what I did and what worked. Step 1. Get your real number. Take every dollar your house costs you per month, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, HOA if you have one, and add it up. Write it down. That number is what homeownership actually costs you, not the mortgage myth. Step 2. Get your house number. Find out what your home would sell for today. Talk to 2 or 3 agents. Get real numbers. Step 3. Run the retirement math. Take your estimated sale price, multiply by 5%, divide by 12. That's the conservative monthly income your house could generate if it were liquid. Add it to your current retirement income. Then look up the cost of living in one country you've always been curious about. Run the gap. Most people who do this calculation honestly are genuinely shocked by the result. Step 4. Visit before you decide anything. I spent 3 weeks in Portugal before I committed to anything. 3 weeks of living like a resident, not a tourist. Cooking at home, going to the local market, sitting in the same cafe twice. You'll know within 10 days whether it could work for you. Step 5. Give yourself permission to consider it. This is the hardest step and also the most important one. Most people never get past the idea stage because they feel like wanting something different is somehow ungrateful or irresponsible. You worked 40 years for this. You are allowed to want more than $214 left at the end of the month.
I want to leave you with one thought. A house is a wonderful thing to raise a family in. It is a terrible thing to be trapped in. The difference between those two things is not the house. It's where you are in your life when you're living in it. I raised my family in that house on Elmwood Drive, and I am genuinely grateful for every year of it, and I sold it at exactly the right time. Not because the market was perfect, not because I had a perfect plan, but because I finally asked a question I had never let myself ask before. What if the house isn't the goal? What if the house was always just the vehicle? And what if I've already arrived? Next week, I'm going to show you the 5 specific countries where this math works best for American retirees right now, with real rental prices, real healthcare costs, and the one factor most people forget to research that can make or break the entire decision. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if this video made you think differently about the house you're living in right now, share it with someone who needs to hear it. It might be the most valuable thing you've sent them this year.